Hello patio tanks, how's everybody doing? Another night of fish keeping, just fish looking. Man, everybody's looking fabulous. Same with Skittles over there too. Take a closer look at Skittles. Man, he's beautiful. And this parrot just dropped her tube. You can kind of see it, but it's not dropped all the way. It's pretty low. Let's see. Damn, he got another damage to the head already. Let's see. He's too nice. He's not even aggressive towards the female at all. But let's see if he's proven. We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm gonna leave the light on all night for them and see how it goes. Because he's a F3. He's wide-eyed, but we'll see. Usually red-eye is more fertile. Because they got a lot more SRD, more ZZ genes in them, and they're more fertile. While eyes are confas and they usually aren't fertile. Might have to take this dude out, just in case he decides to eat the eggs. But talk to you guys real quick about how to keep fish outdoor if you guys are in the States, especially in California. I don't know about other states, but I would guess that if you guys are in let me just turn on this light. I think he's used to the light outside. I guess if you're in the Midwest where it's a little bit more humid, a little bit more hot, you wouldn't need to blast up your heater. But then during the snow season, you might have to move them inside. But I would suggest insulating your basement or garage really well if you do keep them in the Midwest. But let's just say you're in California. You're in along the West Coast. During the summer, it goes up to like 115, 116, maybe 117 degrees on a very hot day. But majority of the time it'll be like, I don't know, last year was not that hot. Last year was like, I think the hottest was like 110 only, but that was like 1 or 2 days out of the whole summer, and the rest is like 101, 102, which is still pretty bearable. I didn't really need to turn up my heat at all. But let's say I want to say half of the year, 6 months out of 12 months, I just need to blast up my heater. Even when it's rainy, just make sure you have something to cover the tops for them so they don't. I do have a patio. This is a patio, so there's the upstairs. I'm in an apartment. This is the blocking this portion right here, so they don't really get the rain. Even right here, they don't really get the rain, which this covers it already too. I do have an opening right there, but just make sure you cover them pretty good on top. I try to stay away from wood stands, because if it rains and it gets really, it'll get moist. The wood would suck in the rain and then when it gets hot, the wood would flex, the wood would bend. As you guys can see, this is a 2x4 right here, and it's separated right here already. This used to be all sealed shut. Same with that right there too. So during the summer, it would flex or bend the wood. That's the only downfall. But make sure, if you do have your tanks outdoor, make sure there's covers for heat or sunlight, because one, you will have a very green tank. Two, your fish will need shade to hide from the sunlight, because they can't be in the sunlight all the time. Sunlight for about 15 to 30 minutes is to me is recommended for them because it enhances their pearls and their colors. But then you don't want them to stay in the sun baking all the time. They'll die faster. But yeah, just during the cold times, rainy times, this does get filled up a little bit, so make sure you siphon the water out. Rainwater is really healthy for the fish too. I do notice that it really balances the tank well. Just make sure when it's cold, anywhere between from 60 degree and lower, blast up your heat. So I would try to keep my heaters at like 89, 86 degrees, but it won't warm up the tank all the way to 89. It'll keep it around like 86, 87, which is still really good for the fish too. Just in case when it does get colder, the temperature drops a lot faster. So if you're outside, you're really fighting with a temperature change, temperature fluctuation all the time. But that should be a natural thing for fish, you know, so they could like relax a little bit, like calm down and chill for a bit, and then the tank will warm up and they'll like get active. It should be they should be very adaptive to different temperature changes, to habitat changes too. So that's part of the reason why I have my fish outside, because if I do move them around, like for example, I'm taking them to competitions and I need to get them used to changing spots around all the time. I do switch them from time to time on tanks right here too. During the summer, I would turn down the heat to 82 because even at night it gets pretty warm, to like maybe like I think the highest that I've seen is like 84 degrees at night, which is still pretty bearable during the day, or yeah, 84 from what I remember, but during the day it gets to like 100 something. So I turned it to 82. Usually the heat waves from outside would usually do the trick for it already. If it doesn't get hot enough, usually during like around the AMs, 3 to 4, 5, 6 AM, it does get pretty the temperature does get pretty low. So I think that the heater would just warm up the tank a little bit until like 7 to 8 AM in the morning, and then it'll get pretty warm already, and it'll help warm up the tank. So electricity wise, no, it does not take a chunk of electricity. But if I do all water change at once, because these are all 300 watts and even the 20 gallons are 200 watts, it will just shut down my power in my apartment right away. So I gotta do one water change at a time, or maybe 2 to 3 water change at a time, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tanks, and I'll probably do 4 tanks, or maybe 3, or depending on how much water I take out on these. I'll do a good amount of water change, and then let the tank chill, get warm to a correct temperature. Then I'll do other tanks so I don't have a blackout. Yeah, so that's how I keep my tanks outside. I do allow the algae to grow. I know I have these plecos in here, but I would allow the tank to have some algae for a few days, and then I'll throw the pleco in, because algae is very beneficial for the fish. And as you guys know, algae is a natural beneficial bacteria for the tank, and it balances the pH for your fish. Even for the winter too. For the winter I keep them 24/7, because it does get cold, and if they don't have any beneficial bacteria, and the sponge filter is the only thing that keeps it, it's kind of hard to fight with the weather at that time. You know, especially if you're during the winter, there's a lot of different water coming through the sewage and stuff. I can't keep a big tank of water outside here, so I'm doing straight from the faucet water change straight to the tank. And if there's different balances of pH, different pH through my faucet during a certain time of the week, certain time of the month, it will be hard. So that's why I do keep a lot of algae. That's another tip that you want to keep, if you want to keep fish tanks outside, is to make sure you have a lot of algae so it balances the pH for your flowerhorn. And that's how I keep my tanks outdoor. I make sure everything's covered good, especially the electricity is covered. No water could touch it. I mean, there's a little bit of water could touch it, but you know, nothing that could make it damage to everything. So that is it for patio tanks on how to keep fish outdoor. That is it. We is outs.